Tell us your name, what you're running for, and what party you're a part of.
Okay, I'm Mark Klaus. I'm running for McLean County Board, District 10, far east side of town, and I'm on the Republican.
Okay. And what are some of the goals that you would like to accomplish if you get on the board?
I think fiscal management is number one on just about everybody's list, just trying to stretch the buck. So I'm all about value, so kind of what I do for a day job. You can't always just keep increasing money, so I'm trying to figure out how can we eliminate waste, be more efficient, so manage the cost side better so we don't have to keep increasing taxes all the time. So focusing on where's the best bang for the buck and distributing the money and where's the greatest need is that. So the fiscal piece is a big one, and I think community safety is my other big one, that if we don't have a safe community, people don't feel safe, businesses won't come, people won't stay. So that's kind of a bedrock to try to build and sustain a nice, thriving community.
So is there anything right now that you can think of that you would like to see cut?
Honestly, I don't have anything like top of mind. It's more of a mindset. So as I come in, that's when you start asking the questions. So I don't want to come in with a bunch of preconceived notions of we should do this and we should do that. You've got to come in and learn a little bit more about what's going on and why, and then we can start making some adjustments. Do
you support the initiative to get rid of the county auditor, the elected county auditor that's on the ballot?
You know, there's a lot of pros and cons to that. Some of it depends on the individuals. I've been in similar roles before where, depending on the skills, you may not need it, but when things change, you might need to bring it back. On the surface, I'm all for more efficiency, and if there's duplication there, I think we need to look long and hard at that. So it'll be interesting to see where people land on that, and they feel that it's auditor has a strong word to it. Well, if we get rid of that, does that mean we're getting rid of all the checks and balances, or how are we really compensating for that? So,
but you're not giving us specific recommendations to the voter right now.
I think since it's a referendum, it's really for them to decide.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to necessarily.
Well, you're going to be voting on it too.
I'll have to vote on it, so I don't know that I want to necessarily influence anybody, on that one. So I think it's just one to study, and there's just a lot of dependencies on it.
Yeah.
It might be good right now, and then later on, if other people get into other roles, they might not have the same background and strengths, but that's where we just need to continue adapting, and you can supplement. If you get rid of that, you can supplement through other roles, hiring in. So if I had to go one way or the other, I think it would probably make sense to look at eliminating, but again, there's pros and cons, and everybody's going to have to see what's most important to them. If they feel like that control, or they want to try to go for efficiency. So those are the trade-offs.
So are you familiar with McLean County's mobile crisis team? They go to mental health calls. Are you familiar with them at all?
A little bit.
Okay. So would you be willing to increase funding for the mobile mental health crisis teams? They would be responding to non-violent, non-criminal mental health calls as opposed to police responding to those.
Again, I probably would need, heard of it, I would need more data to really kind of know, what are we not getting? So, current level of funding, what are we missing? So tell me, what are we going to get more of, or anything if I'm getting more funding? So that kind of goes back to the value of understanding what we're currently spending. Do we actually need more spending, or do we need the same level of spending but use it differently to get more value out of it? So
the goal
I would agree that we need to try to complement the police, because the police have a job, and if it's really more mental health, and I don't know the detail how they determine whether it's a threat type condition where the police may need to be involved versus it's really more non-threat and it's more truly mental health, and they can be involved without safety issues coming into play. But I think they need to definitely work together. It's not a them, both, they got to work together.
Yeah, so the big issue is getting them up to capacity, and so that they can, because right now if you call the police, you call the fire department, they're going to respond immediately most of the time. Mental health crisis team, it might take an hour for them to get there. So if we can get them up to that point where they're responding immediately, I think that's where a lot of the funding goes, is increasing the amount of people that they have working with them so they can provide that type of immediate response.
So I think that would be studying, okay, we get that, but how much downtime, is it? So once a month we have, a 60-minute versus the rest of the time it's 5 minutes. I I don't know that I want idle resources sitting around for 29 days. So again, for me, I'm a data person, so like show me your business case and let me understand, and maybe there's halfway in between. Maybe you want 3 more staffing, maybe we can do 1.5. That makes it better, but it's not all the way, so we've kind of balanced the cost and we've improved service, but we've tried to balance it in between.
Okay, and just based on the director of that team, the average right now is 60 minutes. Like that's the average time here.
Okay.
So just letting you know that. Last question I have: what are your proposals to solve the unhoused crises and address homeless encampments? Because we're in this country, we're seeing an increase in homeless encampments not seen in a century.
Right.
So
I'm not going to be the one coming in with all the ideas. I'm more of a learner, and so my job is to try to listen to others that do have some specific ideas. So on the housing, I don't have a silver bullet that's going to fix all that. I think it's going to be a matter of everybody's got to kind of work together. So there's the government, there's the nonprofit agencies, there's the Better Business Bureaus, the builders, the rental companies. Everybody's going to have to kind of be on the same page, because if somebody goes off and does one thing, it's got to all be cohesive on how it's going to work. And I think we need to start small with something and prove something out, rather than doing a large 20 building build somewhere. Well, it could be in the wrong area, the wrong types of finishes, the wrong price point. Nobody wants to go there now. So we build all these capacity, but it's not meeting the need yet. So we got to make sure we're kind of start small, and then if it works, then we can try to scale it out later. Is how I would approach it. But beyond that, I don't have the magic answer yet. But I think it's going to be a matter of a lot of people coming together to try to share information, share ideas, and see where we can start.
would you support if the county board passed some type of anti-encampment ordinance? As a lot of municipalities are racing to do that after a recent Supreme Court case. They're trying to pass ordinance so that they can legally get rid of encampments that exist. Is it something that you think you might be supportive of, or?
Yeah, I think, again, I'm not read up, I'm not an expert on that particular topic, but just on the surface of it, I think I would, just for the fact that, we need to try to, instead of just letting it spring up, can we somehow work through that together and try to manage it? Obviously they got to have someplace, where did they come from in the first place? That I don't know. But on the surface, I think it's got some merit, so we have to see the details of more of that.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Nice afternoon.